Hello viewers, welcome to the Tech Architect. My name is Imran Ashraf and you are watching the Azure Fundamental video series. Today's topic is control and organize the Azure resources with the Azure Resource Manager. In this module, we will look into user resource groups to organize Azure resources, use tags to organize resources, apply policies to enforce standards in your Azure environments, use resource logs to protect critical Azure resources from accidental deletion. So first of all, we look into what are the resource groups. A resource group is a logical container for resources deployed on Azure. These resources are anything you created in Azure subscription like virtual machines, application gateways, and Cosmos DB instances. Logical grouping basically logical grouping uh, uh, resource groups exist to help manage and organize your Azure resources by placing resources of similar usage type or location. You can provide some order and organization to resources you create in Azure. Lifecycle: if you delete a resource group, or all the resources contained within are also deleted. Automation authorization: resource groups are also a scope for applying role-based access control, RBAC permissions. Creating a resource group. Uh, Viewers, this is the exercise, and we will do this in a separate video. I will create another video and we will do it. In that we will create. However, I can tell you here the resource group we can create from portal, your PowerShell, your CLI templates, and your SDKs like .NET or Java. And sometimes the resource group will be created automatically to enable the service, like if we create network watcher, the resource group will be created automatically. The next thing is the explore a resource group and add a resource. Use resource group for the organizing for authorization. You can organize resources by who needs to administer them. If your database administration team is responsible for managing all of your Azure SQL database instances, putting them in the same resource group would simplify the administration. Organizing for life cycle: if you delete a resource group, you delete all the resources in it. Use this to your advantage, especially in areas where resources are more disposable, like non-production environments. Organizing for billing. Lastly, placing resources in the same resource group is a way to group them for usage in billing reports. If you are trying to understand how your costs are distributed in your environment, grouping them by resource group is a one way to filter and sort the data to better understand where costs are allocated. Organizing principle. Organizing principle: resource groups can be organized in number of ways. We might put all resources that are infrastructure into this resource group, but we could also organize them strictly by resource type. Using tags to organize resources. What are the tags? Tags are the name, values, pair of text data that you can apply to resources, and a resource group. Tags allows you to associate custom details about your resource in addition to the standard Azure properties. A resource has department like finance, marketing, and more, environment, prod, test, dev, cost center. life cycle and automation life shutdown, like shutdown and startup of virtual machines. Resource can have up to 50 tags. The name is limited to 512 characters for all types of resources except storage accounts, which have a limit of 128 characters. The value, the tag value is limited to 256 characters for all types of resources. Tags are not inherited from the parent resource. Not all the resource types support tags, and tags can't apply to classic resources. Apply tag to resources is a exercise we will apply, and in a separate video I will create a new video for this exercise, and we will apply the tags to the resource. Use tags for the organization. You can retrieve all resources in your subscription with a specific tag name or value, and tags enable you to retrieve related resources from different resource group. This approach is helpful when you need to organize resources for billing and management. If you want to automate the shutdown and startup of virtual machines in development during the off hours to save costs, you can use tags assist in this. Uh, Use policies to enforce the standards. What is a your policy? A your policy is a service you can use to create, assign, and manage policies. These policies apply and enforce rules that your resources need to follow. Policies can enforce things such as only allowing specific types of resources to be created, or only allowing resources specific your regions. Use policies to enforce standards. We could use policy to restrict which your regions we can deploy resources to, or we could use policy to restrict types of virtual machine size can be deployed. We could also use the policy enforce naming conventions. Exercise, we will create a policy, create policy assignment, and test out the policy in a separate video, and I will create this for a separate video. The next is the secure resources with role based access control, RBAC. What is RBAC? IT persons that need to manage settings, developers that need to have only read-only access, and administrators that need to be able to control them completely. So RBAC is a core service for fine-grained access management for your resources. Using RBAC, you can allow one user to manage VMs in a subscription and another user manage the virtual network. Allow a DBA group to manage SQL database in the subscription. Allow a user to manage all resources in a resource group. Allow an application to access all resources in a resource group. How RBAC defines access? Use an allow model for access such as read, write, or delete. Best practices for RBAC: segregate duties within your team and grant only the amount of access to users that they need to perform their jobs. Instead of giving everybody unrestricted permissions in your subscription and resources, allow only specific actions at a particular scope. When planning your access control strategy, grant users the lowest privilege level and that they need to do their work. So the next is the exercise, and we will apply the RBAC role in the exercise. Use resource logs to protect resources. What are resource logs? Resource logs are the settings that can be applied to any resource to block modification or deletion. Resource logs can set to either delete or read only. Delete will allow all operations against the resource but block ability to delete it. Read only will only allow read activities to be performed against it, blocking any modification or deletion of the resource. Resource logs can be applied to the subscription, resource groups, and individual resources, and are inherited when applied to the higher level. Using the resource log in a practice exercise, I will do a separate video, make a separate video for this exercise as well, and we will create resource logs. We will evaluate our resources and logs, apply the logs. So viewers, this is all about the this topic, and thank you for viewing. Till the next video, bye.